The USF Pro Championship just made its debut here in the Pacific Northwest, here at Portland International Raceway back in 2018. And the drivers who won here that first time we were here in USF 2000, what was then Indy Pro 2000, are three of the graduates we talk a lot about. Kyle Kirkwood won both races in USF 2000. Oliver Askew and David Malukas splitting the Indy Pro 2000 race wins. Fast forward here to 2025, and it is championship weekend, and we are about set to crown two more champions. Max Garcia in USF Pro 2000 got it done back in Toronto, but USF 2000 and USF Juniors still up for grabs as we come into the finale weekend. 3 races on the docket for both of those series. It's going to be a beautiful weekend here in the Pacific Northwest, but the temperature could get a little warm on Sunday as we wrap things up for USF Pro 2000 and USF 2000 after IndyCar on Sunday afternoon. Full day of testing already in the books. Now it's time to go qualifying. USF Juniors and USF 2000 will set the grid for race number 1 after this break.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by, like, a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Portland International Raceway for rounds 14, 15, and 16 of USF Juniors. Triple header for USF 2000. Double header as well for the USF Pro 2000 drivers. All part of the Continental Tire Grand Prix of Portland. My name is Rob Howden, and I'll be joined throughout the weekend here by the voices of this event, Bobby Corser and Phil Martelli. Full day of testing yesterday. Practice already done this morning for all 3 of the categories, 1 session, and it's time to get at it here at the finale weekend for the 2025 USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. Beautiful day so far, 66 degrees, but if you're following the action at all on social media, you know you've heard lots of talk about extreme heat warnings coming as the temperature will rise throughout the weekend. Sunday's going to be a warm one for sure, a scorcher at likely a 90 plus. It's going to be a warm one for the drivers. These racers in USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000 will race after IndyCar on Sunday. And the drivers here in USF Juniors will be done with their final run of a triple header on Saturday afternoon. See the drivers on the racetrack right now, getting used to this racetrack here. Beautiful track here at Portland International Raceway, 1.964 miles in length, 12 corners, and this is one of the tough corners right here, 10, 11, 12, the combination that leads them back onto the straightaway. And then here's a great shot as they come down into what is one of the tougher opening corner complexes of the sport. That is the Festival Chicane. You see to the left side there, all those chicanes that are set up should you not make it to the apex of turn number 2. Through turn number 1, right by the wall there, up and over the curbing, get the car settled, and back to the left through turn number 2. What a fantastic view we're getting here for USF Juniors in qualifying. The drone shot giving us the run around the outside of the racetrack through the different corners of the track here, 4 and 5, through turn number 6. Rolling good speed through that corner, as you see from here. The final couple of corners sweeping through and then down what is a kind of a sweeping right-handed back straightaway right through the river into the tough part of this racetrack. Again, turns number 11, 12, and 13. Drivers on the racetrack, as we know, a 30-minute time window to get 20 minutes of green flag running in. The fastest time of this session will set the grid for race number 2. The second fastest time will be used potentially, or at least at the beginning, for race number 2. If you go quicker than your second fastest lap in race 1, you can replace that lap and use it for race number 2 and race number 3. So we don't have anything set up in terms of race 2 and 3, but after this session's done, we will have the grid for you for race number 1. There's the curbing there in turn number 1, right by the wall. Drivers right over top of that. You see how they tackle that corner coming through turn 1. There is that compression coming on the other side. It bounces down and around the curbing of turn number 2. Out of 2 through 3. To get a really good look at this racetrack here. We do have a championship battle in this one. We know it's not happening in USF Pro 2000 as Max Garcia already got that done. One driver with some issues there, dropping a wheel and potential suspension damage. It looked to me like that car settled down coming through. But the championship battle here in USF Juniors is a good one for sure. Leonardo Scorpioni for Zanella Racing versus Liam Loiacono from J. Howard Driver Development. Loiacono, the hottest driver on the circuit right now. He's won 5 of the last 6 races, the young Aussie. Now just 14 points back of a Scorpioni. Scorpioni just 2 finishes off the podium. 1, a mechanical. At NOLA Motorsports Park, finished 20th. 4th, the other worst finish off the podium at Road America. He has been absolutely stellar. In the races at Road America just 2 weeks ago, 4th, 2nd, and 2nd, starting 2 of those races from outside the top 14 after a rough issue in qualifying. So that's really what you have here. Joao Vergara still in a mathematical chance to win the championship, but he is a long way back right now. He is, 73 points back with only 99 up for grabs. Vergara would have to sweep the weekend and have both Scorpioni and Loiacono have issues. 14 and a half minutes still to go, or 15 and a half minutes still to go, 4.5 minutes down. A Scorpioni out of the gate with the fastest lap. Another driver over there coming through the back part of the racetrack, challenging the limits of the facility. Looked like one of the VRD drivers. There are 4 VRD drivers running here this weekend. That's Matan Achatov, who has looked very good. And not surprising, he's pushing hard. This has been his best weekend in terms of pace and testing. Final weekend of the year as he's developed very strongly throughout the year. The number 9 of JT Hoskins just leaving the grid now after getting a 5-minute penalty for blowing the checker in practice this morning. So he's going to come out here right in front of a couple other drivers. In fact, he's going to come right out in front of Leonardo Scorpioni, who will not be thrilled with that. He does get to driver's left coming out of turn number 2, so good job for Hoskins to get over there and get out of the way of a Scorpioni, who's likely on an early flyer. We'll say hello to those to you who are here trackside early on a Friday morning to take in all you can from the event here this weekend, and also those of you following and watching either on the YouTube channel or on the USF Pro Championships app. We have a number of regular followers who watch all of our broadcasts. Hi, folks. How are you? Great day here right now in Portland. 66 degrees trackside. Scheduled or a potential high of 79. It is going to be potentially high 80s or 90 on Sunday, so that the mercury will rise throughout the weekend. Right now, Scorpioni on top of the 114.906. Vilo Atala, the Finnish driver for D-Force Racing, up into second. Ty Fisher, Scorpioni's teammate, in third. Fisher is 5th in points. Atala in 6th coming into the finale weekend. Patricio Gonzalez coming off of 2 podium finishes at Road America, now up into 8th in points, is in 5th. Joao Vergara, 3rd in points, now 6th. Weldon, 4th in points, is 7th. Raheem Alibi, the driver, the number 23 from Miami, Florida, made his debut at Road America. Looking good here, P10. Michael Succo, Rodrigo Gonzalez, Emma Scarborough, Connor Aspley, and Matan Achatov round out your top 5. No time yet for Hudson Potter, and no time yet for JT Hoskins. Hope to see both those drivers lay some times down. Brendan Cooley now improving himself up to P5, coming off a breakthrough weekend at Road America. Brendan Cooley qualified on the outside of the front row in Elkhart Lake and optimized that into a podium finish in race number 1, top 5 finish in race number 3, and a contact with Vergara on a restart early, going for the lead. Took him out of race number 2. But again, a new driver for sure, Brendan Cooley, like a switch went off at Road America. Had his teammate Jack Jeffers in the booth with me doing the cover of that broadcast, and Jack mentioned it was like a night and day from the young driver started the season, banging out finishes just outside the top 10, mid-season inside the top 10, and that great breakout at Road America. We'll see if he's able to do it again here, go top 5, because I believe Brendan Cooley's scheduled to come back here to juniors next year. Man, he'll be super tough in trying to go for a championship. So the tire allotment here for USF Juniors, 2 sets. So that's 2 sets through qualifying in 3 races. So tire management is key. Number 1, it keeps the cost down a little bit. And number 2, tire management is crucial. And how you're going to hold tires, when you're going to bring the new set out. Do you use 2 sets during qualifying, or you just stick with the 1 set for the 20-minute run, holding on to a fresh set? And USF 2000, USF Pro 2000 will most definitely see a mid-session pit stop for them to put on fresh Continentals to try to improve the car as it gets lighter and take over that P1 position. For Scorpione and Loiacono going for the championship right now, every point is going to count. 30 points for the race win, 25 points for second, but 3 points up for grabs as well. 1 for qualifying on pole, 1 for leading the most laps in the race, and 1 for the fastest lap of the race. So those bonus points, starting with the 1 right now, the bonus point for qualifying on the pole could be crucial to see who comes away with that scholarship to move to USF 2000 next year, worth just under $250,000. $500 Continental Tire Pole Award up for grabs as well. Scorpione and Loiacono, 1-2. Not surprising. The cream rises to the top again. Attila, 3rd. Fisher, 6th. Patricio Gonzalez, 7th. Achitov now up to 6th. Justin DeLucia making his debut, the young driver out of Toronto, Ontario, for Exclusive Autosport. Was in the top 5 of the opening test session yesterday, fell outside the top 10 in session number 2, but was, I believe, top 10 or just outside top 10 in the practice this morning. He's currently 7th. DeLucia 7th, Cooley 8th, Vergara 9th, Gonzalez 10th. Kaylee Countryman in the number 90 into pit lane and back out. She currently sits in the 18th spot, 1.4 back. Just 1.5 seconds separate the entire field right now. Have not got a fast lap yet out of JT Hoskins. He had to sit out the first 5 minutes after blowing the checkers. So, indeed, Hoskins will find some speed, no doubt about that. He has become a top 10 runner as well, even up in potentially to the top 5 on a regular basis. So, Hoskins looking to have a good run on his debut weekend here at Portland. As I said before, Bobby and Phil joining me here in the booth. Phil, you got the headset on right now. You had asked me the questions earlier about how young these drivers are and those sitting around the racetrack right now. Essentially, this series, 14, 15, 16, 17 is what you're getting. You have to be 14 years of age. That's the youngest drivers in the program. It's the first step, essentially, for USF Juniors, is drivers coming out of karting or any of the school series.
It's just amazing, too, and we've seen them as they climb up the ladder. A question I got, though, you were talking about tire management. You got 2 sets of tires. I don't know what corner that is we're watching. We got one guy kicking up a little dirt out there now. But what I call the rumble strip, somewhere out here I'm watching it, they go up over the rumble strips, basically off the asphalt, into gravel. It looks like back onto the asphalt. That's got to be hard on those tires.
Well, the turn number 1 where they kind of climb through and dip below that, right, with the rumbles on the outside, it's just going to upset the car a lot. Like any formula car, you want to run it as low as you possibly can. The lower you are, you lower the center of gravity. This is here. This is that run through turn number 1 and 2, right? So they're not using the curbing as a curb. They're actually just jumping over top of it. There's turn 1 right there. You can see the boom right down in. Watch yourself that you don't get into the Armco on the inside. Yep. We had one driver, Max Garcia, actually did that yesterday in testing. But coming through there, the biggest thing is the fact you run these cars as low as possible, as I had said. Well, on the very bottom, underneath the tub, there's essentially a plywood, a wooden skid plate across the bottom, where that's what so it's not actually rubbing on the carbon fiber. There's a skid plate that we bolt on the bottom, and it rubs on that. They'll replace those throughout the year as they rub off, as these drivers, as we know, absolute maniacs going over the curb.
Got to get every inch of the track they can.
This is it, man. Like, again, when we're talking about a couple of tenths or a couple of hundredths of a second, separating spots on the racetrack, that's 3, 4, 5 inches through a corner. Bobby, that's how close it is to be able to get through those corners.
No, you're talking about it. And some of those guys are even really, honestly, shortcutting corner 1, where they're making that turn, and you mentioned hitting the barrier. We saw it happen yesterday. We've seen it happen here in the past. Definitely don't want to do that. That's going to ruin your weekend real quick.
Yeah, the more you're to the right side, the more you straighten up the turn over to turn number 2, right? And the key, obviously, turn 1's crucial to turn in, but it's getting through 2 and back on power early that leads yourself over to, through 3, the big sweeping 4, 5, then the 6-7 combination. There's your point leader and current fast driver, Leonardo Scorpioni, number 55 for Zanella Racing out of Windermere, Florida. A very talented young driver coming through karting, won a lot of races, finished well in a lot of the big series and big events. Second year in the series. Last year had a couple of podium finishes, but this year just a new driver. I talk a lot about the fact that the drivers change so much year on year, but at 14 years of age, last year he was one of the 2 youngest drivers in the series in USF Juniors, along with Christian Cameron at just 14 years of age. And they had just turned 14 in the first quarter of the year. We went racing in April. So the bottom line is he's another year older, right? He's 15 years old. He's done a full season. And he'll tell you he came in with just such a different mindset this year, having done it one time already, right? The experience of been through an entire season, all that it takes just changes the driver when they come into a sophomore program.
So before getting into this, a lot of them you said get into the karting. So what is the age they usually start going karting racing then?
Well, to be honest, there's drivers in kid karts who are 4 and 5 years of age, right? 5, and they're going wheel to wheel, 6, 7. I remember there's 2 drivers here. I'll just pull 2 of them out. Max Garcia and Caleb Gaffera are 2 drivers that ran cadet racing when they were, I think, 6 or 7 years of age, running national level races. These 2 drivers went at it for a handful of years. They ran in what was then called the micro category, then mini, and then junior. That's kind of the progression up out of kid karts. And these guys were head-to-head everywhere they went. They were running for championships and race wins, battling it out. And the level of racecraft that you will see globally here in the U.S., anywhere in cadet karting, is ridiculous. You can go back and look at some of the archive video of Lewis Hamilton when he was racing a zip cart back in the day, already supported, I think, at that point by Mercedes. Wow. And watch the racecraft that they have. They know in-out moves. They know over-unders. They know that, hey, I'm going to sit and push the guy away so I make the move on the last lap, right? It's not just a free-for-all. The strategy of racing, all that racecraft, is taught so early by their coaches and their parents when they're young. By the time they get to junior racing, it's unbelievable what they've already learned.
Exactly.
Scorpioni and Fisher, P1. 5 minutes to go in the session. Leonardo Scorpioni and Ty Fisher for Zanella Racing are leading the way right now. The 55 of a Scorpioni just came into pit lane, in fact. He's a tenth of a second ahead of his teammate. A 1:14.600. This will set the track record, as last year's run here at Portland was in wet weather conditions. Max Taylor turning a 1:28.5, so we're 14 seconds faster than we were last year. So not surprising that we're going to set a new track record for a Scorpioni. Ty Fisher in second spot, Liam Loiacono in third, Oliver Weldon fourth, and Joao Vergara in fifth. So essentially that is your top five in the top 5 in the points, top 5 on time. And listen, that shows you that these drivers who are up front, and the reason why they're up front in the points is because they're always up front on the timesheets as well.
Right. You mentioned a couple of guys have come into the pits. Is that, we talked about tires and trying to figure out using, either a fresh set here. Is that what they're trying to do? Either, slap on a set of stickers and go set a fat slap, or what's the mindset?
Bobby, with only the 2 sets of tires, I don't know that the teams are going to use both sets in this particular session. Okay. For me, it may be with a Scorpioni where he was P1, a 10th quicker than his teammate. He's, a 10th quicker than Loiacono. Hey, you know what? Why not come into pit lane? There's still 3.5 minutes to go. Maybe he wanted something different on the car. Hey, okay. Can we change the wing angle? Hey, I'd like to have a little bit more of this. Can we change the car itself as opposed to changing actual, bolting on fresh tires? Fresh tires is just free confidence.
Sure.
Right? Anytime you put fresh tires on a car, you're going to get more grip. It's not real speed. It's just fresh tire speed, right? So, hey, maybe we can make a minor change because you don't get a chance to – this is the only time you're going to get a chance to do that again.
Right.
Change the car during a session. Feel it, change it, and then get a feel for the car itself. So, if they just made an adjustment to the car, whether it's Naka Zanella, the team owner, or their engineer, Ernie Ganella, who are 2 of the best in the business, for them to make that minor change, this could be good for a Scorpioni. He's still P1 right now by a 10th over his teammate, just 0.13 back is Loiacono. A Scorpioni trying to grab that bonus point. Crucial for him to get that point because, hey, listen, in times before, it's come down to tiebreakers. I won't go back to who it was. It was Indy Next a number of years ago. But tiebreakers oftentimes come into, hey, who had the most wins? Who had the most second-place finishes? You never want to give up a P2 because it could be a tiebreaker that wins you a scholarship.
100%. Fascinating stuff again. We have just over 2 minutes left in this session. And, Rob, we talked about the age of these kids getting into racing. We talked about, starting on karts and coming up here. What is their goals now next? Are they wanting to jump up to new levels, or what's kind of, the mindset of these drivers right now?
I think if you're a driver in the top 5, you want to race so far, you're listen, it's like I came into the year, I'll do juniors, I've done well, I'm going to 2000. Oliver Weldon may look to follow the footsteps of his brother and go run in Europe, right, in one of the F4 series there. But the rest of these drivers, if they've had any success, if they've been on podiums, a win here, whatever it may be, all of our top 5 drivers will very likely want to go to USF 2000 next year. You go outside the top 5, like a Vilo Attila, who has had a great year, P6, could get a chance to go for a race win. If he comes back next year, he's going to be one of the dominant factors, right? A Brendan Cooley, thinking about like a JT Hoskins, some of these drivers, Connor Aspley, who's come on second half of the season. They want to come back for that second season and do what Leonardo Scorpioni did. Learn the first year, try to win the second year.
So cool.
All right, just over a minute remaining here, folks. Let's see what happens. Car's getting lighter and lighter as the fuel burns off. The tire pressure set correctly. Yeah, maybe a Scorpioni said he wanted to get a tire pressure adjustment as well. Maybe they're getting too much grip. You bleed a little bit of tire pressure off, get an opportunity to potentially go a bit quicker. Joao Vergara and Rodrigo Gonzalez did, in fact, do that. They went quicker on the last lap. Vergara 4th. Gonzalez 5th. Weldon 6th. Patricio Gonzalez 7th. Hoskins, Attila, and Achetiv in 8th, 9th, and 10th. Brendan Cooley was up to 6th at one point, 13th right now. So time winding down. Just over 30 seconds remaining, and know that we're about 20 minutes away from the start of USF 2000. Again, 30-minute windows for 20 minutes of green flag running. We're going to go green to checker in this one here, because even if we do go red, it'll end the session. So we will have some time. 12:10 start time for USF 2000. And those of you watching on the YouTube channel, don't go anywhere. I'm sure we'll play some great content for you in the meantime and have a countdown clock for that 12:10 start time for USF 2000. Both of these categories, junior and 2000, with a championship fight going on right now. Checker flag as we have hit the 0 mark. Checker flag being shown on the entry to turn number 10. End of the back straightaway, the alternate timeline. A Scorpioni still on top. Fisher, Loiacono, Vergara, Gonzalez top 5. Hoskins goes up to 7th. JT Hoskins up to P7 on his final lap. There's the alternate timeline there. Drivers left. This will be it. Can anybody find more pace coming across the line? Aspley does not go any quicker. He does go faster. Pardon me. He goes to P15 for Connor Aspley. Look for more drivers coming out of the final corner of this racetrack here. I don't know whether or not there's any more drivers on track. There's the answer to that question. Indeed, there is. A couple more coming across the line. D-Force drivers. Nordqvist coming across. He is 16th spot. There's more drivers still rolling through here. Yeah, we got more drivers to come. So hold on here. Let's see if anybody else has a place for the top 5. Looking down who's here. Vergara, Weldon, Fisher already there. More drivers coming across the line, including the Scorpioni. Lap 13 was his best. Last driver across the line. Going to be one of the exclusive Autosport cars, and we're done. Leonardo Scorpioni, the point leader, bagging a bonus point. How crucial is that? Not only does he get a bonus point, but he'll start on the inside of row 1 for race number 1 this afternoon. We'll have driver intros at about 4:45 for USF Juniors Race 1. Scorpioni was a 10th quicker than his teammate Ty Fisher. Liam Loiacono finishing in the 3rd spot. Joao Vergara in 4th. Rodrigo Gonzalez 5th. Oliver Weldon in 6th. JT Hoskins up to 7th. Patricio Gonzalez 8th. Vilo Attila 9th. And Matan Achetiv rounding out the top 10. There's your unofficial results right there. A Scorpioni 1:14.595. A new track record as well. That will stand as you're not able to get a track record from the race conditions. So as we come back to Portland next year, Leonardo Scorpioni, the track record holder, 1:14.595. There's your top 10 right there. 11th went to Raheem Alibi. 12th in his debut, Justin DeLucia. 13th, Brendan Cooley. 14th, Diego Guillat. 15th is Connor Aspley. 16th, Thomas Nordquist, Michael Succo, and Colin Aiken. 17th and 18th, Kaylee Countryman, Emma Scarborough rounding out the top 20. Maddie Colleran in 21st, and the driver you don't see there, Hudson Potter. Not sure. He had a big wreck, I believe, yesterday. Not sure what's going on right now here with Hudson Potter. We'll try to get an update from the paddock when I come back. Those of you tuning in on the YouTube channel, don't go anywhere. We'll be back, as I had said, 12:10 start time. That is just a little under 20 minutes before we're back on track with USF 2000. Those of you trackside, again, 12:10 start time for USF 2000 qualifying. Again, if you're on the YouTube channel, don't go anywhere.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And to handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
When racers come to run with the USF Pro Championships, they're trying to become professional drivers, as we know, and they're trying to get exposure for what they've done, right? Not only do we teach them in terms of the media side, but they're really hoping for exposure through what we do. All of our races, of course, live on the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel. We have a downloadable app as well that fans can watch all of the races, the documentary, The Climb that we put out, all the live timing, all on the app. So the exposure is there that they're able to leverage. If they have a sponsor or a prospective partner, an investor who's not here trackside, they're able to watch all the racing throughout the year. It's all about giving these kids as much exposure as possible, and there's not another junior formula program in North America that has the kind of exposure at the level that we have here in the USF Pro Championships.
We're rubbing elbows. We're on the same race weekends as IndyCar, and so it helps for those young drivers to look up and see those guys running at the top level like I am now.
Being in the presence of the organization that is IndyCar, you're obviously not racing in the series, but you're racing with it.
We create our schedule to be as much as possible on IndyCar weekends. The IndyCar series is always looking for young talent. They've moved a lot of our kids into the upper levels, and we need to race in front of them.
The IndyCar team owners do pay attention to what's going on the ladder, and that's important for the drivers. But it's a good way to get and learn exactly what goes into a race weekend.
They really made sure to show the importance of social media and posting, and to get well at talking in front of crowds and talking in front of big places.
It's extremely international now, which hasn't always been the case. You're racing against guys that will be future IndyCar race winners, race champions, and so it's a very unique opportunity.
The reason to come and check out the USF Pro Championships is simply because we teach everything you need to work your way to the top. Again, it's not just about racing, it's about everything that you have to learn to be a race car driver, but also the development we have from car to car, level to level, gives the driver a little bit more every year. It's a really graduated step for up the sport, as opposed to diving into something super fast. This teaches you from a really good place coming out of karting into one of the school series like the Skip Barber Racing School, and then into our USF Juniors program. It's such a planned effort. Everything is set correctly so that on the way up you learn incrementally what you need to get to IndyCar.
On our level, our job is to prepare them mentally, emotionally, media conscious, all that stuff. We have training seminars. We have the race directors who will, especially on the juniors level, will work with the kids and try and explain to them what's going on the racetrack, what they did right, what they did wrong. This is a learning series. They need to learn from their mistakes so that when we deliver them to IndyCar, they're the real deal. They're the finished product.
It's really important as they move up the USF Pro Championships ladder to continue to build on their brand as they get to IndyCar. It's a good way for the drivers to learn what they're going to have to deal with as they get to the big leagues.
It gives them a great training ground from the bottom to the top, how to communicate with your team, how to act, how to be as a person, all the things that are needed to become a professional driver.
You really can work hand in hand with your mechanics to tell them exactly what you need. I've learned a lot in this series of what it takes to be a driver and relay that to the mechanics as far as driving, how the car feels, and I think this series just does a great job with putting the drivers with the right teams and the crew to make that happen.
USF Pro Championships, it does a really good job of educating us on what tracks we're going to be running when we get to the professional leagues. Same thing in Formula One. You run the certain tracks that you're going to race in Formula One, and they do a really good job with that here. There's other series that could lead you on the path to IndyCar, but they don't race on the same tracks as IndyCar does. The USF Pro Championships gives you a little bit of a leg up as a young driver to already know the tracks, so that when you become a rookie in IndyCar, you have a little bit more of an even, playing field with the other pros that you're racing against.
One of the key factors in the USF Pro Championship that we always focus on is the level of safety. Back in 2022, we introduced the Halo to the car, which has increased the level of safety dramatically. And again, we're one of the only series that runs that in the junior level. And that's the key for us, is to make sure we take care of our drivers. Number one, on the racetrack. Number two, with the Halo. But number three, of course, with the AMR IndyCar safety team as well. Just like IndyCar has a dedicated crew of people that when there's an incident, they're the ones that arrive on scene the first time. They're with us as well. They know our race cars, they know our drivers, so when they get there, in the event there is an incident, we make sure they're completely taken care of.
So for the safety in our series, we follow IndyCar pretty much on all the safety standards as far as drivers' helmets, harness devices, suit requirements. We follow the IndyCar, and the reason for that, because we want to be the best out there. We want to be the safest. We want a mum and a dad to know their son, their daughter is in the car, and they're absolutely the safest they can be.
They always think of safety first, and now every car has Halo, so if there's any flying debris or if you flip, you're gonna, 100% that you're gonna be safe. I had a big crash, Freedom 100, 2019, back in Indy Next, and before my car even stopped rolling, I already had an AMR safety guy in the car saying, "Hey, are you okay?"
Well, having started out as a racing dad, I know full well the concerns of a parent to make sure that we protect their kid. And we are very safety conscious in the USF Pro Championships.
The USF Pro Championships is really the development level for drivers coming out of karting to move their way to the NTT IndyCar Series. The whole concept is we teach them everything they need to know all the way up the ranks.
The USF Pro Championships, it's North American Open Wheel Racing's version of college sports. Got 3 tiers to it, which is pretty important. This whole thing is geared to go upwards and really define who the next stars happen to be.
There's so many drivers that come into the sport and maybe don't have the financial resources to make it all the way to the big time, right? All the way to IndyCar. The scholarship program provides a monetary award that goes to a driver winning the championship that allows them to move up to the next level. So if you win a championship, you win the money you need to go racing in the next level.
A number of drivers in IndyCar today have used the ladder system to gain experience and to gain funding via the scholarships to pay for the next level.
The USF Pro Championship helped me get to this spot in my career because of the many opportunities that it creates.
It was massive for me. The scholarships that are implemented are crucial for drivers. That was my lifeline all the way to IndyCar, and it's a big reason why I made it.
It's very unique. You know, we have the opportunity to win our way to IndyCar, basically, and some guys have done that.
The USF Pro Championships really helped me to get where I am today. You get so much racing on IndyCar tracks. You get ovals too, which for a European guy, that's something that's very useful.
This series is a smooth way of adding new developments into my career and new aspects of it. It's a smooth way of learning how to grow as a driver.
It has a great reputation. The competition level is amazing. It just gives drivers a great opportunity to advance.
The field here is really, really intense. I mean, people are down to the hundreds of thousands of seconds.
It's a great development series, and I think it's somewhere that you should be if you want to be going to IndyCar.
With 3 levels in the USF Pro Championships, we have USF Juniors, USF 2000, USF Pro 2000. One of the key components of the technical side of our sport is the fact that all 3 levels have the same basic chassis in itself. The USF Juniors, USF 2000, very similar race cars with the same engine as well. Larger engine, more horsepower for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. But what we always say is that we want our drivers to get a little bit more of everything as they work their way up the ranks.
We hooked up with Italian race car designer Tatis Race Cars. They are the biggest in the world in junior formula cars, and they've built us an incredible car to our specs. We started with what is a typical Formula 4 chassis, but we strengthened it with a double bulkhead to protect drivers' feet, side intrusion panels. The core of the series is the Tatis race car. The tub is the same on all 3 levels, and a lot of the pieces transfer over from one level to another. So you increase the horsepower on every level, lap times get quicker on every level, but it's all basically the same cockpit and the same controls, same data system, and the drivers can learn as they gradually increase horsepower and go faster.
So the Juniors and the US2000 are basically the same car, same engine, same gearbox. Where it comes into is the engine is detuned. It has a different restrictor on, which is different horsepower. It has different wheels, different dampers, different uprights, different brakes. From there to the pro level, it's different body work, it's different wings on the car, it's a totally different engine. The first 2 levels, they integrate with each other very good. Going to the next one, the same. Still the same, tubs, suspension, uprights are the same on a pro car, and brakes as a 2000. It just gets into being a little bit more. It's got a bigger gearbox on it, bigger wheels, bigger tires, more horsepower.
So every step we have specifically designed to make sure you're ready to go that next year when you move up a level.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Welcome back, folks, to Portland International Raceway. One qualifying session already in the books here on the day. 3 practice sessions before that as USF Juniors already locked things down. Point leader Leonardo Scorpioni grabbing the first bonus point up for grabs on the weekend. Scorpioni will be happy with that, starting on the pole for race number 1. Championship battle in that category. Championship battle in this one here as well in USF 2000. Although the driver with the momentum coming through is the point leader. Unlike Liam Loiacono, the driver with all that momentum, winning 5 of the last 6 races in USF Juniors. He's P2 in the points, 16 points back from the Scorpioni and Juniors. Jack Jeffers for Exclusive Autosport now has a 51-point lead over Thomas Schrag and another 5 over Teddy Masella. Those 2 VRD drivers sitting second and third. Jeffers has won 4 of the last 5 races and was second in the race before that. So he's been on the podium 5 straight races and 4 wins in a row. Swept the back end of a triple header at Mid-Ohio and then won both races at the Toronto event just a few weeks ago on the street circuit north of the border. He comes in here with a point lead and an opportunity to truly to clinch the championship today. It's all going to be, as we look at the equation of what Jack Jeffers does and what both Thomas Schrag and Teddy Masella do. Here in qualifying, one thing's for certain, bonus point up for grabs. Jeffers wants it, Schrag wants it, Masella wants it. Anybody else gets it, and it's not you, you put yourself behind the 8 ball a little bit. So exactly the same as we saw in juniors, a 30-minute time window with 20 minutes of green flag running. If we go green to checker, it'll be 20 straight minutes. Otherwise, we'll try to leverage the rest of those 10 minutes in the 30-minute window. I believe we may have one driver who is on pit lane. Von Mishko, I think, was the driver who blew the checker. So he'll have a 5-minute hold here at the start of qualifying, as was JT Hoskins in USF Juniors. Hoskins was able to get himself up into P7. So was able to capitalize on the late running there to go up into the 7th position. We'll see what Mishko is able to do here running for D-Force Racing, a regular driver in the Mazda NX5 Cup program. So the points here has Jack Jeffers with 353, Thomas Schrag with 302, Teddy Masella with 297. Those are the 3 drivers that are still in the championship contention. G3 Argyros is only 93 points back with 99 points up for grabs. He'd have to win every race, and Jack Jeffers essentially would have to withdraw because Jack, with I believe we have 17 drivers in the field, 17 drivers in the field, you're going to get 1-2 bonus points just for finishing the race, or 1-2 points for finishing the race. Man, I'll tell you, this camera shot here, for those of you who are at home, showing the absolute ferocity of turn number 1 as they just bounce that car through over the curbing into turn number 1, narrowly kissing the Armco on the, it's actually Armco on the outside. It's concrete first, then Armco kind of around the outside as they come through there, all to try to straight line the corner into turn number 2. This track, as we know, one of the most diabolical opening corners in motorsports with the festival chicane. Everybody's got to be able to get through 1 to the driver's right, all the way back around through 2. It really takes a lot of respect and a little bit of give and take. If you're going to just try to be super selfish in that corner, you're very likely not going to get away cleanly. Just too much side-by-side action. We've seen a lot of chaos throughout the years heading into 1, 2, and 3 here at Portland. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail and we'll be able to go racing. Out of the gate, Jack Jeffers, as he did in practice earlier today, P1 thus far, 111.749. It's worth saying that the track record is a 110.903. Rasmus Lint still holding the track record. He's here this weekend. He's a driver coach over at Turn 3 Motorsports. So Rasmus Lint going to see whether or not his track record holds up from September of 2018. Rasmus, of course, going on. Number one, a fantastic run through what was then the road to Indy. Had some great races in the Indy Lights program and has become a heck of a driver coach and does a lot of sports car racing as well. Prototype racing, and again, just a very talented driver. We were thrilled to have Rasmus with us through many years of his development coming through the USF Pro Championships and, of course, where he is now as a motorsports professional. Jack Jeffers on top. Let's just look early here. Drivers starting to put some laps in. G3 Argiro second. Teddy Masella in third. Lucas Ficuri fourth. Caleb Gaffera fifth. Sebastian Garzone now goes to the top. As I said, we can read you off top 10s here, guys, right now. And again, just for those of you tuning in, Bobby Corser and Phil Martelli joining me in the booth. Or actually, I'm joining them in their booth. They're the voice of this event. And Bobby, let's start with you. We can sit here and use the first 15 minutes to talk about who's fast. It doesn't really matter. It's the last 5 minutes when the cars start getting light, right, that these guys are really going to go quick.
Right, and we see a couple drivers now have missed the chicane, and so we talked about now that they have to navigate a series of additional chicanes in the runoff area. So,
Bobby, they're pushing the envelope. In the drivers' meeting yesterday morning, Joel Miller, our race director, said straight up to them, guys, when you're out there during these test sessions, use those runoffs because you need to navigate them a couple times. Practice your way through there. If you get pushed too hard, you've got to make the decision of, hey, I don't have enough braking. I haven't loaded up enough to get through. You make then the decision. You switch your approach to go through those double chicanes. You better have done it a couple times in practice before you do it in a race.
Yeah, and you can even push too hard or get pushed off and decide to bail out in corner one in the event you're going side by side and you're either going to wreck or not. So very important to do that. But as you mentioned, we're waiting for the cars to get light as end of the run comes.
Yep.
Tires are finally up to temperature. Fuel has been burned off, as you've said a few times, and time to go after that course rate. They're already getting close. I mean, it's a 110 and change. They're pulling 111.3s now. So.
Yeah, one of the things, guys, I think is going to be interesting, Phil, is that because they have 3 sets of tires, or 4 sets of tires for 3 races, do we see some drivers come into pit lane to put fresh rubber on mid-session? It's only 20 minutes of green flag running. If there's a red, they'll do that, right? They're already in the pit lane. They make the tire change quickly. If it goes green to checker, it's 9 minutes change 8 minutes because it's really only it takes about 3 or 4 minutes to change the tires. This isn't IndyCar 6.5 second pit stops. It's 2 drivers over the wall, 3 guys over the wall, 1 on the quick jack, and 2 guys on tires. It takes a bit of time. You're going to burn up some crucial track time trying to change tires.
So, in your opinion, advantage to take tires or not for this short of time?
I think for a lot of the drivers, it depends on where you are. Remember, we're in a place right now where these top 3 drivers all want to have the best lap possible. If you don't think you're getting the job done, you can come in and put fresh tires on. To have just that little bit more at the end for a Schrag or a Jeffers or a Masella, maybe you risk it to try to go for it. Or for a guy like Jeffers, if he really only Jeffers needs 5. If he gets 3 top 5 finishes this weekend, nobody else can do anything for him. He just needs 3 top 5s. We'll see how it plays out. But like you said, I think everybody's going to risk it, or they might hold on, knowing that, hey, maybe I'll save a fresh set of tires for the final race of the weekend.
But you can also, the tires you put on for, if you do change, you can use those tires again through the weekend.
Yeah, as you know from the racing you've done with the dirt tracks, Phil, you put a tire through a heat cycle, you go out and run it for 3, 4, 5 laps. You haven't burned all the life of that tire. If anything, you've made it a little harder, you've given it a little more durability through when you run it the next time. Because you're going to take it off, it's going to sit for a while, it's been through that heat cycle, you pushed it hard to a high heat, it cools back down to room temperature or ambient temperature, it's going to be a really good tire when you put it back on again. So every set of tires that these guys use, they'll eventually likely use on one of the races this weekend. So indeed, 11 and a half minutes still remaining. Thomas Schrag now has gone to the top of the charts for VRD Racing. He crucially needs as many bonus points as he can. Jack Jeffers is in second, Teddy Masella in third, Evan Cooley fourth, Caleb Gaffera fifth, Sebastian Garzone, G3 Argiro, Lucas Ficuri, Ryan Ginetta, and Anthony Martella. Now cap off the top 10. But again, we're not even at a halfway point here. Cars are going to keep getting lighter and lighter. And again, that great shot that our IMSP production crew wanting to give us here, that dive bomb run through. Yeah, one driver having some trouble. Good call. Double chicanes as the penalty for not getting over to turn 2 this year. So that is definitely going to pay off. Ideally, Bobby, it's going to make these drivers come into turn 1 and say, okay, we've got to work together. I've got to get through this, because if I have to bail out, and listen, you can't make the corner. You got to come all the way back around and get back to those double chicanes. If you don't get through the corner, you are going to hinder yourself in a big way. It would be better for you to cede a position as opposed to go back 4 or 5 because you've had to go through the chicane.
Oh, 100%. You're going to lose so much time as you're navigating that anyways. You will lose the amount of position. So just, don't risk it. Back off just a little bit. Attempt at the next lap if you can. But again, if I'm out there driving against somebody and I know that it's either, lose positions or time or wreck my car, I'm going to back off and say, hey, maybe right now the fight is not the time to do it. We can wait a little bit.
You'd hope that would be the case and always be the case, except for the fact that on occasion there's Jack Jeffers in the 92 into pit lane and out, as is Caleb Gaffera for Pabst Racing. So a number of teams have been able to work their way there. The simple fact it's the last race of the season. Yep. Some guys have that checkers or wreckers kind of mindset, right? That I'm here. Let's just wrap up the season. Where we as the T series would rather say, hey, listen, you're still learning. You're learning to the last lap. No need to throw it away. I will say one thing that's happened for Jack Jeffers, and it's going to be a bit of a benefit here. We'll see if it plays out for him. Because of the wins that he has had, those 4 wins in a row, and some good finishes by his teammates Evan Cooley and Lucas Facuri, they've taken the lead in the team championship as well. They're going to mark a lead of 11 points over VRD in the team championship. Yeah, nice to win. Everybody wants to win the team championship, get awarded that at the banquet on Monday. But what it does give you, the lead puts you to the very front of pit lane as well. We set the pit spot allotment up based on who's leading the championship. The overall team championship. So that moves Exclusive Autosport to the front. So that means every time when we had qualifying, well, not every time, but every session so far, he's been the first driver on the racetrack, which is advantageous when you're not having to deal with other drivers in front of you.
Clear air is so important.
Yeah, we did see a driver go off there over in turn number 5, and that was the brand new team driver, new team and the driver from NV Motorsports, Spencer Hancock. He's been pushing hard, really trying to find the limits of the racetrack, and he's been over them a couple of times. But I say all the time, a track like this especially, you don't know where the limit is until you go over it. Now that does not apply to St. Petersburg or Toronto because the limit is a concrete wall, as it is at a couple parts of this racetrack as well. The limit in turn 1 is not the Armco. Be smart. Don't do that. So, indeed, great stuff. We're watching a lot of these guys power through here. This is great.
Now, when you guys were talking, Rob, I saw a lot of cars come in. I saw some tires change. Exactly who? Don't know.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this right now. If you came into pit lane, you change tires.
Sure.
There's no real sense in giving up the time unless you're going to make a minor adjustment. I don't know that would be the case. If you're coming into the pit lane, you're very likely putting fresh rubber on. So, indeed, drivers back out, underway. Because really, it's all you have left here. That carryover set of tires they use for practice, they're done. From race on, you're using that allotment of 4 sets of tires for the races. Eddie Beswick in as well. Eddie currently sitting in the 15th spot. He was second in Toronto, one of the races. So their first time here as a team, Synergy Motorsports. So they came in with a blank sheet of paper. No idea exactly what the setup they needed. So they're going to be behind the 8 ball for sure this weekend. Thomas Schrag on top still. Jack Jeffers in second. Masella, Cooley, Gaffera top 5. 7 minutes to go. Many of the drivers have come in to put on fresh rubber. And you remember, 2 laps are crucial. First lap sets the grid. Your fastest lap sets the grid for race 2. Your second fastest lap is your provisional time to use for race 2 and 3. So for anybody in the championship chase, Jeffers, Schrag, and Masella, if you get 2 good laps in, there's a possibility you could lock down 3 points right now. I don't know that we're going to get quicker during the races when the heat continues to go up. It's going to get greasy. It's going to get slick. IndyCar, Indy Next on the racetrack here before we go racing with juniors in 2000 this afternoon. So I don't know if the track's going to be any faster to go quicker in the race. Now, you do get a chance to leverage the draft, but this isn't Road America where we have these long straightaways where the draft is crucial. There's a little bit of a draft, right, going down in the back straightaway and the front straight, but nothing like a Road America.
No. And you mentioned that these guys, and we're seeing them run nose to tail. I ask you this. If you're a guy that's running in, say, a train position here, are you getting the benefit of the car in front of you cutting the air for you, or would you rather be out in front, clean air by yourself?
Well, that's a great question, right? Because it balances off do you want the draft, or do you want to make sure that you have clean air over the front of the wing? Because if you're behind someone, let's say through some of the corners here, we talked about that, we go around this racetrack, there's some longer sweeping corners that you're going to race here where it's more of a carousel kind of corner, where if you're up underneath somebody and you lose that wing over the air over the front wing, all of a sudden you don't have that aerodynamic downforce, that downforce that pushes down Well, that's when you all of a sudden get those, that mid-corner understeer, right? The issue's there as, again, Spencer Hancock pushing the issues, goes off the track once again in turn number 1. So, yeah, nice to have a draft, but, man, I would love to have clean air. Especially on a track like this, it's not so draft-dependent. Clean air, I think, is going to be what every one of these drivers want. They never want to be rolling a good lap and see they're on their theoretical best and get behind a guy and have to put more wheel input because it's pushing. You don't want to have that mid-corner understeer. And that, it also burns your tires off as well. So there's a lot of negatives to having that aero wash.
What would you say the track record was? I know we're, in theory, getting close to it.
Yeah, we are 400ths of a second off. Okay. Hundredths. A 1:10.949 for Thomas Schrag, 1:10.903. Rasmus Land, who's back in the paddock right now at Turn 3 Motorsports, wondering whether or not that record's going to hold. I don't think he's going to lose any sleep over it, but it's a nice feather in your cap.
Hey, listen, anytime that you can say, hey, I ran the fastest anywhere, you will take it. I ran the fastest from my house to work the other day, 4 o'clock in the morning.
No one's ever done it faster, Bobby. Track
record. OSP didn't say anything, track so record. That's all that matters.
4.5 minutes to go, and as we always talk about, these cars continue to burn off fuel. The Continental tires hold their grip throughout the entire session. Yeah, it may not be the absolute optimum, the peak of the tire grip, but because the tire's gone down, that equation, you got to, the lighter the car is, that grip is still going to be enough for you to put down fast laps. Eddie Beswick, and definitely did that. He goes to P9. Remember, he was down in 15th. He's now up into the 9th spot. So Eddie Beswick for Synergy Motorsports, the Aussie, up into 9th position. It's still Schrag, Jeffers, Masella, Cooley, and Gaffera. How about the top 3 drivers in the top 3, just like we saw in juniors? Schrag looking to try to grab that first bonus point. He essentially needs to sweep the weekend, all 99 points with a shot at it. As I told Phil before, 3 top 5s, I believe, is enough for Jack Jeffers, regardless of what anybody else does. But both Masella and Schrag need this pole. Schrag, obviously, with a better opportunity than Masella. He's up by Masella by 5 points. But, man, Teddy would love to grab this pole position right now to close up on both Jeffers and Schrag. All 3 of those drivers with a shot at winning the scholarship worth $405,000 to move to USF Pro 2000 in 2026. 3 minutes to go. Beswick went quicker. He went to 9th. Timmy Carell went to 14th. He turned his best lap as well. Behind the top 5 I talked about, Garzone runs 6th to 12th. Ryan Janetta, the number 99, he has had probably the worst year in terms of bad luck that I have seen in the 15 years that I have done this. I don't think that anybody, there would be a wreck on the racetrack and somehow the driver would come across the track and take out Ryan Janetta. Every time I saw it, my heart felt and my gut just got queasy because I was calling his name out in wrecks that were not of his own doing. It's horrible to see. He's getting a chance to show the skills that he has. Former top driver in the Skip Barber Formula Race Series last year. And started the season in USF Juniors, just elected to make the move up to USF 2000. It did not go his way, but he's been top 10 all weekend so far. Currently sitting in the 7th spot. G3 Argyros 8th, Eddie Beswick 9th, and Christian Cameron 10th. One of the, I'm not sure if that was Beswick or one of the Jay Howard cars, not making it through the chicane correctly, did not come back to the chicane area, the penalty area, where you have to do if you missed the opening corner. So no one in this last lap has gone green here. No one turning any personal best laps. 1:40 to go. Thomas Schrag looking to grab that first bonus point that he's looking for. He knows he's got to essentially bank every point possible. Starting on pole in race 1 would be huge. Again, 51-point lead for Jeffers coming in. We've seen battles before. Miles Rowe, Chase Denmark, Michael D'Orlando, all here at Portland. D'Orlando was 3rd coming into the points. The 2 teammates at Pabst Racing, Rowe and Denmark, battling each other out, battling so hard that they took each other all out, and D'Orlando came away with the championship. Lucas Facuri now goes up to 7th. Carell moves forward to 12th. Timmy Carell. This is going in the right direction for the driver up at the Pacific Palisades, California, for Jay Howard, the Fast Toys machine. Martello goes quicker as well. He'll go to 12th. Anthony Martello to P12. Schrag up front. Not yet broke the track record. 0.04 of a second. 30 seconds to go. Those drivers coming through here right now, they're going to get one more lap. This is the shot going down the back straightaway from turn 10. Alternate timing line there as they come into the braking zone of turn 10. After turn 9, the kink. Lucas Facuri 7th, Martello up to 12th. Final seconds of qualifying for USF 2000. First and second, Schrag and Jeffers separated by 12 thousandths of a second right now. Does Jeffers have room for one more? He went quicker on that last line by. Jeffers did go faster. He gets to within 12 thousandths of a second. He's trying to still pull away from Schrag. Still no track record yet. Lucas Facuri goes up to P4. He's quicker than Evan Cooley. So Cooley 5th, Facuri up to 4th. This is the final run down. Does Schrag come away with the pole? He does not go quicker on the final lap. Lap 6 was his best. I don't think he went any faster. All these drivers coming through here still on their final circuit. Jeffers did get to within 12 thousandths. Is there one more lap for Jeffers to go to P1? Does Facuri have it? He's had great pace second half of the season. Waiting at the end to see who's going to bring it through. Caleb Gaffera across the line, 7th. Schrag still on top over Jeffers, Masella, Facuri, and Cooley. This will be it for the drivers coming across the line here. The track record still stands by 0.04 of a second. Here comes the remainder of the field. Like I said, a couple of drivers getting good drafts coming through. And I don't think Jeffers able to do it. 12 thousandths back. And indeed, Thomas Schrag starts the weekend off as he needs to. P1, he needs all 99 points. You got to start with the first one. Thomas Schrag, P1 for VRD Racing, but not a track record. Rasmus Lint still holding the track record by 0.04 of a second. Schrag, though, enough to beat Jack Jeffers. That'll be your front row, your two primary title combatants, and add Teddy Musella. Drivers in the top 3 in points. Top 3 here as well. Jumble them up a bit, but the top 3 drivers are top 3 in qualifying. Lucas Facuri continues this mid-season run in the number 91. From mid-season through to the end, he has been very impressive. Facuri P4, Evan Cooley 5th, Sebastian Garzone in 6th spot, Caleb Gaffera 7th, Ryan Janetta. Oh, that is a great story right now for VRD Racing. The young Californian 8th in the number 99, G3 Argyros in 9th, and Eddie Beswick rounding out your top 10. Remainder of the 17-car field, Christian Cameron in 11th, Anthony Martella, Timmy Carroll and Brad Moshman, the Jay Howard driver development cars, 12th, 13th, and 14th. Joshua Aliyah now surprising. He had really good pace yesterday. He is 15th ahead of his teammate Von Mishko. And Spencer Hancock in his first qualifying session in USF 2000 for NV Motorsports, P17, just 2.2 seconds back as he's been finding speed throughout the entire weekend. We know he was pushing the envelope for sure as he was off track a couple of times. But again, the championship battle, we said, the big story here in USF 2000. Thomas Schrag needs all the points he possibly can. He'll get a bonus point to get things underway. He'll start alongside Jack Jeffers on the front row for race number 1. Those events will happen later on this afternoon. We're on a break right now, folks. We're back at 4:10 here. After Indy Next, after IndyCar, USF Pro 2000 qualifying set to go at 4:10. Right out of that race, that session, straight into USF Juniors and USF 2000. Back-to-back races to cap off the day, the front end of the triple header for both those series, and both Juniors and USF 2000. As we know, championship still undecided as we roll in here to the finale weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in to the broadcast, folks. Those of you on the YouTube channel, hope you enjoyed it. Those of you trackside, good to have you out here on a Friday morning, now into a Friday afternoon. You might as well use every opportunity to be here at the track. Beautiful day here in Portland. It's going to get warm throughout the weekend. We're heating things up on the racetrack as well. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We do appreciate it. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.
What a race.